Greetings, Ken. How y'all doing? We're on another cycle, a new cycle. We're actually on the Red Serpent, Chicchan, um, and we're starting with the store. Now, if y'all go back on 4 days ago, where we were at the top of the solar cycle, we were with the Red Dragon, and it was input. Remember, if you haven't watched that video, go back about 4 days to where it was the Red Dragon, and you'll understand what I'm talking about because I actually showed this same graph right here and explained the 4 day cycles briefly, and why, if you've been paying attention to the affirmation of every creation, like every 4 days, it does change from input to store, process, output, and matrix. We are now on the first creation of the store again. We're moving back to the top. And so let's see. Oh, another thing, like, so with the calendar that I have is different from the original calendar, because it's from my app. And one thing that I don't really care for with the one that I show is the fact that, like, every week, which is really called a heptad, we really don't like to use week because WEAK, and ain't none of us weak. You know what I'm saying? This is part of the spell casting as well. Week end, the day of the week. So towards the end of the week, this is why everybody's exhausted by the end of the week. And you know what I'm saying? You can't wait to get to the weekend so you can rest and then get back to the week, which starts over again. So we like to use heptad because heptad means a 7 day sequence, or any kind of 7 period, seven something sequence, a sequence of seven, which would be a heptad. And so with the months or the moons and the weeks or heptads, every single one has its own color. And it starts with the red, then the white, the blue, and the yellow is the last. And every heptad, the first heptad is initiating. The second week or heptad would be refining. The third, transforming, and then ripening, which is, you know what I'm saying, part of the flowering. And um, yeah, this so if you download the Sync 1328, something like that, it's only with Apple right now, and I'm Team Android, so there's that. Anyway, so we are on Kin 225 on this creation, which is the Red Self-Existing Serpent. Self-existing is the fourth tone, and so this would be for Chicchan, because Chicchan is the original name for the red serpent. Um, and so we'll get started with the affirmation. I define in order to survive. What are we defining in order to survive? Measuring instinct. So this is how we're measuring our instinct according to what we define in order to survive. I seal the store of life force with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of birth. So this would be the red dragon. And we'll read that over again. I define in order to survive. Measuring instinct. I seal the store of life force with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of birth. All right, so um, guided by the red dragon, which is the first of the solar seals. And we'll start here because this is the original cycle starting from here, starting from the unseen, the subconscious, and moving as the day continues all the way around to the end. And on the left side is the blue eagle. And so we'll start here with questioning as the red serpent, or as the red serpent Chicchan, um, of survival, of instinct, and life force. And so we're protecting our life force. We're getting, this is a time to get grounded in the root chakra. This is safety. This is when we think about safety and survival, especially both of these right here, with the red dragon, of birth, of nurturing, um, and of being. And so how we how we look at life. Are we in survival mode? How it's always, everything always falls back to me. And I'm speaking for myself. Every time that I point the finger at somebody else, every time I blame, shame, anything, point outwards, anytime I'm doing that, I'm giving away my power. And so if we're in survival mode, if we're in fear, if we're in lack, question. This is the perfect time to question why, to question what's going on in our mind, to question how we're giving our power away. And with intelligence, not triggered by emotions, not triggered by trauma or anything like that, out of curiosity. What makes me feel like or think that I don't have enough? What makes me feel or think that I can't be what I envision in my mind? And in the mind, which is creativity, um, which is the blue eagle, creating in the mind with the power of vision. What is stopping me or calcifying my mind from seeing those things that I know are possible in my soul? I know is possible. And our guide on this creation is the white wizard, which enchants, attracts, lures in, calls in. And then receptivity is also one of the aspects of the white wizard. And also timelessness. So there will be things that happen in the physical realm that make us feel like we're running out of time or we have plenty of time. But when we go into timelessness, into the unknown and the unseen realms, questioning, getting curious without fear, just curious about these type of thought processes, regardless of what's going on in the physical world, there's still more dimensions and worlds beyond the physical. As a matter of fact, the physical can be changed and interchanged and is on and off all the time. And it's temporary. Everything physical is temporary. The invisible is what is eternal. So nurturing our being, our body, our minds, our businesses, whatever we feel called to nurture in this new birth, in this new being, that's what helps us see clearly. When our body is well, when we feel good in our body, we're in a calm state, our nervous system is okay, our nervous system is good, we can see clearly so that we can create from a higher timeline, from a higher frequency, energy, and vibration, which means whatever we create from the inside out is literally creating heaven on earth, or a piece of heaven on earth for our individual lives, which also affects the collective. And here we are still on the white wind wave spell of spirit, communication, and breath. And here's some more synchronicity on this 1328-day moon. We are on the alpha plasma, which is connected to the throat chakra, speaking out loud, breathing, getting grounded, and speaking over our lives, speaking over our business, nonprofit organization, public or private organizations and businesses, knowing, questioning the boundaries and limitations that we have depending on who and what we work with. I'll leave that there. So this creation is all about self-existing. It's all about surviving, what we think about survival, how we can stay out of survival mode, how we can stay, how our instincts can be raised to a higher frequency so that we're not being so reactive, and simply responding from grounded spaces. That's really all I have. Otherwise, I just keep rambling. I give thanks on this creation, on this new birth, in this new being, as this new being. We're changing every single time we decide to change our thoughts and our emotions, our processes, and our behaviors. It's a new day every time we decide. And that's interchangeably. Timelessness. All right? That's it. Have a good one. Y'all take care. Until next time, in Lakesh. Peace.